it's Liz from Elizabeth Street Studio. Welcome to episode 2 of the Studio Notes podcast. I am sitting down tonight. I have a pile of good stuff to share with you and I'm so excited. I'm going to start off first by sharing my new hat pattern. This is the hat. I think I was in the middle of working on this in the last episode. I need to weave in that tail. That's okay. But this is the Iris hat. It is a slightly slouchy beanie. There's some twisted ribbing at the bottom. It's super comfortable. I actually wore this into work today because there was a little bit of snow. Wisconsin in the spring is a little bit crazy. But the snow melts really fast if it sticks at all. But so this is a perfect spring. Oops, I gotta back up a little bit. So you can see there's a little bit of slouch. This color is a little bit pinker in real life. The lighting is terrible at night over in this space, but this is the time I had to record, so we're going with it. But this hat, the Iris hat, is actually just starting for test knitting right now. I just got it back from my tech editor the end of last week, I think. And I just put up a testing call. So as of today, what date is today? April 19th? April 19th. I still have a couple of spots left if you are interested in test knitting this hat for me. I would love to have a good handful of friends working on that. I have a couple of people who I'm going to send the pattern out to actually tonight when I'm done recording. But I have a couple of spots left. So if you are interested in knitting up a nice springy lacy beanie, let's get in touch. This is actually a really fast knit. I used just under 1 skein. This is what I had left of Brooklyn Tweed Peerie. There it is. So I had just under 1 skein of Brooklyn Tweed Peerie. That's a fingering weight. I used the color Arabesque is the colorway that I used for this hat. I actually really love this color. It's like a neutral, but not a neutral. It's just perfect. I don't know. I love neutrals and then having just like a single pop of color in my wardrobe. So I'm drawn to neutrals a lot. So that's what I used for this sample. But this hat would be really cute in a ton of different fingering weight yarns. It would be a great stash busting project if you have some fingering weight sitting around on your shelves just waiting to be knit up into something. I would humbly and lovingly suggest an Iris hat for this spring. And I have all of the details on the test knit, like dates and all of that stuff in my Ravelry group, which I pretty much just use for testing. And I will link that in the description below. So if you are watching this and it's close to this current date, you can pop in there. And if you're wanting to join and be a test knitter, you can just leave a comment and I'll get back to you. I would love that. So that's Iris. This is probably the biggest project that has moved forward since I chatted with you guys last. Let's see what's next. I have still been working on my ginger sweater. I feel like this is just the saga of this sweater. I finally did finish a sleeve. I ended up having to rip back. I first did this and realized the shoulder drop and the armhole depth was way too deep. And so I ripped that all out. I ripped it back. Thankfully I didn't have to re-knit anything. I just ended up ripping back on, well, I ripped out the sleeve, made this length shorter after redoing some calculations in the spreadsheet. I'm happier with how it fits now. I can't tell if it's exactly right. I did block it and then try it on again, and I think it's gonna be okay. But I mean, honestly, I just need to just set this aside for a while. You know, when you stare at something so long, when you can't make sense of it anymore, that's kind of where I'm at with this project. So I'm gonna finish it the way it is. I'm gonna finish the sample the way it is. I'm going to finish blocking it, and I'm gonna wear it and just see how it goes. I'm picturing this as like a sweater or a substitute for a sweatshirt with jeans in the summertime when it's a little bit chilly in the evenings. So I'm just gonna wear it and live in it for a while and see what I think. I feel like there's enough tweaks that I'm not sure if I'm ready to actually make it into a pattern, and like this is my first one, and you know what, that's okay. I think I'm just learning to just be a little bit more forgiving with myself in the process. I have a ton of more ideas, and again, this is a plug for the Sister Mountain Sweater Design School. She's updated the class. We still have access to it, but she's updated it with a different method of the drop shoulder, which is a little bit simpler and does not involve these short rows. I don't know if you can see those right here. This is actually, so you cast on the back neck, you increase at your shoulders and you knit down, and then you pick up stitches along this increased line, and then you knit over the shoulders. So you knit up this way, and you can see that you can see the short row sections. That's like a tongue twister right there. You work these short row sections to kind of fit the drape of the shoulder, and then you work those separately and then join at the neck and work down. So it's a very different construction method. I've never worked this construction method before. I learned a lot about short rows, so that's good. But I'm not super confident about the fit and some of the details. So anyway, that's kind of a long explanation of I'm moving forward on the sweater, but I think I'm just going to finish it, wear it, and go from there. And it might just be something that I wear for myself, like it's the first sweater I've designed, and that might just be it. We'll see. I have figured out how I'm gonna tweak some things with the next. I might do another like iteration of Ginger with maybe a different cable pattern. I'm thinking in a different neckline. Each size has a different neckline, and so that's just really time intensive to write because it's for 9 sizes, which I'm on one hand really proud of, but the other hand, if each one is working a different increase rate and different the way these cables, do you see the way they hug the neckline, that is different on every single size, which is just a little bit putsy and time consuming, and I feel like there's just a more graceful way to write that. So I have some more DK yarn actually in my stash, and I'm gonna work with that with a simpler construction, and maybe a boat neck, so that there isn't so much difference with the front cable panel, and go from there. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Ginger. I want to finish it, but my energy for actually pushing patterns out into the world is focused on some other things at the moment. First, this hat. The next pattern I've been working on is a pair of Colorwork mitts. This pattern also has kind of a story behind it. So I originally got some skeins of Let Lopi, the Icelandic yarn. I have no idea if I'm saying that right. I only say it in my head. Do you ever do that with names? It's like, yeah. But I got some skeins of the Icelandic wool as a gift, and they were these like black, gray, I think there was a lighter gray, a white, so all neutral colors and different shades of neutral colors. I was like, well, that would be a good design challenge, working with those colors and coming up with something that would use, you know, a few colors. I've been wanting to get into more color work and explore that a little bit. So I had in my head a pair of mitts. You know, this would be really thick and warm, especially for winter time. And these colors, especially the black and white, I live in a really old house on the river, and we have loons that come on the river in the middle of the winter. And they're really beautiful. And so I've seen them a bunch because I go for walks along the river a whole lot. And I wanted to design something that was kind of reminiscent of the pattern that you see on the back of the loon's feathers. It has lots of black and white contrast, and it's a really interesting kind of pattern that's distinctive. And I wanted to design something that reminded me of that. And I ended up, these are kind of two versions with this Colorwork pattern. And I liked how it started. I actually still like how it looks. It looks really graphic. It really good. Wasn't kind of what I was going for. I was going for more just like dots, but it ended up being really graphic. But you can see, how they're kind of long. Actually, these are super cozy. Maybe I just like wasn't ready to work on these at this time of the year. I don't know. But putting it on, I was like, oh, these are cozy. Maybe I might have to finish these just for myself. But it ended up being just too thick. I mean, if you worked Colorwork, you could probably guess that. With 3 colors of worsted weight yarn, it's just too thick. So I think this could totally work if I worked on my tension a little bit. My tension was still a little bit off. It's a little bit too loose. And I had some weird stitch thingy, weird color things. You see how like that little dot of the loop shows through on the ribbing? I don't like that. And I couldn't figure out how to fix that. Even going down a size, maybe I just need to go down 2 sizes, I don't know. But I feel like I'm still fairly new to Colorwork, and it just it was too thick. I couldn't get the finesse and the finish that I wanted for this. So I ended up setting these aside. They're just a little bit too bulky and I couldn't get the fit right. But I actually used the same color chart in fingering weight. I have a whole bunch of fingering weight. This is Knit Picks. This is a mystery fingering weight wool. I have no idea. I actually inherited my grandma's stash when she passed away. Oh my goodness, that was probably almost 10 years ago now. And she worked with like all really fine fingering weight, lace weight yarns. And so I inherited her stash, which had a ton of these colors. So I just played around with these, and I ended up, after a swatch and working up a sample, with this little guy. Like, look how crazy cool. It's like little doodles and they little flowers. I just love how it turned out. And this was not what I was picturing in my head one little bit. I was thinking of something graphic, black and white, something warm, chunky. And then I ended up with this fingering weight little mitt, and I absolutely love it. A little bit of some little like, almost like, it's not seed stitch, but like, they look like little seeds or something. I don't know. I think it looks like little flowers and stems, like floral, botanical sort of doodles. And I ended up I used Magic Loop doing these guys. And I'm wondering if that's why my tension was off, because I used double pointed needles for this, and I don't think I have ever had this good of tension in my Colorwork. Like, it's even, everything's flat. I've always had a little bit of trouble with the Colorwork stitches kind of bubbling up a little bit because I wasn't tight enough, but I was always afraid of going too tight because I am kind of I think I'm a loose knitter. So I was trying to compensate for that and just overthinking it. But I absolutely love, I love how I did not weave in all my ends yet. I was too excited. But I just love how that turned out. Like, just some little spring mitts to grab in the mornings. I literally could have used the second one this morning because it was below freezing today. So I knit that up with just some random leftover Knit Picks yarn, which
this could totally be the sample, but I really wanted to try some knitting for Olive, from, oh, there we go. I really wanted to try some knitting for Olive. There's a ton of beautiful colors and I've been dying to try some. So here is what I'm gonna use. This is, I can't see, Marzipan. It's like a natural white Marzipan Robin. How perfect for spring. Marzipan Robin and fennel seed. Oh, I just love these together. So you have a light, a dark, and a medium. And I'd still consider the green to be the dark and the pink to be the medium, and then white is obviously light. So main color, contrast 1 and contrast 2. So I need to cast those on just a little bit like softer palette that's a little bit more, it's a little bit springy, a little bit almost vintagey, and it's a little bit more my vibe and my style that I'm going for with my Elizabeth Street Studio brand. These are super cute too though. I'm probably just gonna knit up another one for myself anyway, but I'm gonna use some knitting for Olive. I actually ordered a couple more colors. Ooh, they're right there. A light pink and a gold, a yellow. They're so fun. And actually any combination of these or those would be so super cute. So there's probably gonna be more than one pair on my needles very soon. So these, I'm gonna work these up and write this pattern, and hopefully I can release these in May, which might be a little bit late for Colorwork mitts. I don't know, I might just go for it anyway because I like having small things to work on when it starts to get warmer, and then you'll have them ready when fall comes. So that's happening. Oh, and when I ordered this stuff, this is kind of a tangent, but I also ordered a skein of ampersand fibers. These are all ordered from, oh my gosh, I don't know how to say it, Shop Le Mercier. I have no idea how to say it. But you know, Jess, her name is Jess. She owns the shop and she just started ampersand fibers. I totally botched that name, but I've been wanting to try her new yarn line, and this is Jensen DK in Vermilion 3. Like, oh, I love that color. Oop, this way. Oh, the light is terrible. I need to figure that out. But it's this beautiful, like, rusty orangey red. Oh, like it's almost a little bit heathered. And it's like soft, but like yet rustic. And I cannot wait to swatch this up. This looks so pretty. And maybe this will be the new version of ginger yarn. We'll see. I'm gonna try some cables with it. I think Jess is actually knitting a very cable-y sweater in another color of this on her Instagram right now. I think I saw a picture. I should check. But this would look super pretty in cables. I love yarn. Oh, it's so fun. I haven't ordered yarn for a really long time. I go through like seasons where I need a bunch, and then as I'm just buying it out of my own pocket to work with right now. But hopefully soon I can work with some design companies or some yarn companies and collaborate. But right now I'm just paying for everything that I want and working with it just on my own time. So I got a skein of the ampersand fibers, and I will absolutely share my swatches with you on my Instagram feed when those happen, which will be very soon, I think. So that was super fun doing some yarn shopping. And I am working on one more thing. This is a lot of stuff, but I was like, I don't really have a whole lot to share. Actually, I do. I started swatching up a Julie Asland's Lezu Fingering Simple. I don't know if you can, there you go, you can kind of see it. It's fingering weight, it's a single ply, merino, let's see, I forget now. Yes, merino and silk. Oh, it is so soft. And the colorway is Fleurs Press. Like, how dreamy is that? And this is what it looks like in a stockinette swatch. It's kind of almost a light purpley color, and then it has speckles of, there's like pink and gray, and it fades between those two. It's really beautiful. And it's super duper soft too. Lightweight, lots of drape to it. That's silk. Oh man. But I knit up a swatch because I'm dreaming about some summer shawls. Ugh, I have so many ideas and not enough time, but I have an idea for a shawl that's like early summer. There's a tree in my parents' backyard. It's a crabapple tree, and it always blooms right around my birthday, which is at the beginning of June. And so I wanted something to kind of bring in those vibes of everything starting to bloom. It's warm, florally, soft, drapey. So I wanted a shawl that kind of encapsulated those feelings and those colors. And so I wanted to use this yarn. I've had a couple of skeins of this sitting in my stash for a while now. And I think it's just begging to be a shawl. It's just so soft and drapey. So I swatched up a couple of lace charts. This is really hard to see. And you can see the problem right away. The hand dyeing, just like, I have a solution, but you can see the lace pattern just kind of gets lost in the middle of the beautiful colors. So you can kind of see it's diamonds here and here and here, and they repeat. There's like a diamond within a bigger diamond. And then it becomes these kind of like falling leaves almost. And then at the end, it's just a simple knit purl and a picot bind off. So I love the drape and the feel of the swatch, but I need to incorporate a simpler color because this color completely distracts and you can't even see what the lace is doing. So what I'm thinking is, either an asymmetrical shawl, and starting with some like maybe 1x3 stripes with this as the contrast color, so that it gives this yarn a little bit of space to shine. I mean, it looks really, the garter edges look really good. So I'm thinking it would start with some garter and have this be the contrast color for some stripes. If the main color was a more of a monochrome, like off-white, or a color that would flow well with these kind of purpley pink tones in here. So it'd start with some stripes, maybe like 1x3 stripes, and then we would use that main color then for the lace, and then this would be almost a border at the end. I would make this section bigger. Anyway, I can see it in my head, but I just thought that was so interesting how you can't even see what's going on with the lace with the color, the hand-dyed effect, even though it's beautiful in that, but it's really interesting that did not work at all with a more complicated lace pattern. So I mean, I learned something new with every single thing that I swatch up, and it's been a lot of swatching lately. But I've stuck it through. Like, I felt stuck on this for so long, but I have a plan now. So I need to go order a different color of the Lezu fingering simple, and then see how that looks with some stripes. So that's where we are with this shawl. I wanted to publish that as something for June, but we'll see how that goes. I have myself on a pretty like full schedule of designs and things, and I have more things in my head for summer, like one summer project after this, kind of like early summer, late spring shawl. I'm really excited about, but I don't know if I have all of the strength and time and energy to bring it through to fruition, but I'm gonna do my best because it's really beautiful in my head. So, yeah, I think that's all the things for today. Think of. I'm still plugging away on the Colorwork sweater I showed you guys last time. I haven't done a whole lot more on that because all of this stuff has taken up, all of these goodies have taken up my time. But I love what I'm working on. I can see it coming out really lovely, and these mitts are just so cute. I can't wait to wear those. I might cast those on tonight. Why not? So I think that's all the things. Make sure you sign up for my newsletter. I am working on a new one to send out with this newest podcast episode, the test knitting info. I'm gonna feature a past pattern of mine. I have some other hats that are really similar, so if you aren't ready to test knit but you want something fun for your needles while you're waiting, I can help you out with that. Yeah, if you sign up for it, you get a little discount code in that welcome newsletter that you get. So there's that. I think that's everything. I'm gonna link all the goodie stuff, all the goods in the description box, so you can check out the shops, the yarns. I'll link Sweater School too in case you are looking to start designing your sweaters. I highly recommend that class. Yeah, I think that's everything, friends. I hope you have some fun things on your needles, and be on the lookout for Iris releasing at the end of the month. And like I said before, if you are interested in test knitting, I'm gonna put that in the description box as well, and you pop into the Ravelry group thread and I will chat with you there and get you the pattern and get you all set up. But thanks for watching, friends, and I hope you enjoy your knitting until we talk again next time.